Welcome. We believe people who learn from other people's experience are exceptional and they win over the people who experience everything themselves. Life is short. You don't want to drive a Lamborghini when you're 90. So our goal on this channel is to allow you to learn from other people and leverage it in short time. We do that by creating content from best self-improvement and business books in such a way that you don't need to read the book at all. Okay, before we start, I want to tell you that we have completed our first book, Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, which you can learn about by clicking in the top right corner. The next book that we are starting today is the most famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The author of this book is Robert Kiyosaki. Today we are going to discuss Robert Kiyosaki's two dads, the rich and the poor. So, let's start. Robert had two fathers, a rich one and a poor one. One was a PhD and worked for government, and the other never completed 8th grade and worked for himself. Both fathers were successful in their careers and earned a substantial amount of incomes. Yet, one struggled all his life financially and other would become the richest man in Hawaii. Both men were strong, charismatic and influential. Both offered him advice, but Robert compared their advices to decide which one to follow. There was one problem. Rich wasn't rich yet and the poor wasn't poor yet. Both men were starting their careers and both were struggling with money. Yet, they had very different points of view about money. Instead of choosing to act on one advice, Robert chose a way of thinking for himself. In the long run, it happened to be valuable. One of the reasons the rich get richer and the poor get poorer and middle class struggles with debt is because the subject of money is taught at home. Now, what could a poor person taught his kids about money? They advise them to stay in the school and study hard. They may graduate with good grades, but they would have poor person's mindset. Money is not taught in schools. They focus on professional skills and not financial skills. This explains why doctors, engineers, and accountants struggle financially. If your country has debt, it means your politicians and government officials lack financial education, as they made decisions about money with little to no financial education. Words are powerful. For example, one of the Robert's father used to say, "I can't afford it," while other father forbade Robert to say that, and he used to say, "How can I afford it?" Rich Dad used to say that when you say "I can't afford it," your mind goes to rest and it's a sign of mental laziness. However, when you say "How can I afford it?" it opens up your mind and you get smarter, which results in you making more money. One dad would say, "Go to college, study hard so you can get a good job at a good company." Other dad would say, "Go to college, study hard so you can own a good company." One dad forbade the subject of money on a dinner table while other encouraged it. Robert says, "One told me to play safe and take no risks. Other told me to manage risks. One believed our house is our largest investment and our greatest asset. The other believed our house is a liability, and if your house is your biggest asset and investment, then you are in trouble." One dad believed in a company or government taking care of you, and he was always concerned about the pay raise, retirement, etc. And he used to say, "I have worked hard for government, so I am entitled to those benefits." The other believed in total financial self-reliance. He was against entitlement mentality. One dad struggles to save few dollars, the other simply created investments. One father taught me how to write a good resume so I can find a good job. The other taught me how to write strong business and financial plans so that I could create jobs. By observing my both dads, I noticed that people do shape their lives through their thoughts. For example, my poor dad always said, "I will never be rich," and that prophecy became a reality. My rich dad always referred to him as a rich man. He would say things like, "I'm a rich man, and rich people don't do this." One thing I realized was that my poor dad was poor because of his thoughts and actions, so I became aware of my thoughts and how I expressed them. One dad told me to study to work for money. Other one encouraged me to study to be rich, to learn how money works, and to learn how to have it work for me. He would always repeat these words over and over and over again. "I don't work for money. Money works for me." My rich dad taught me for 30 years about money and gave me financial education. After 30 years, I realized there were only 6 main lessons repeated over and over and over again. Number 1, the rich don't work for money. Number 2, why teach financial literacy? Number 3, mind your own business. Number 4, the history of taxes and the power of corporations. Number 5, The rich invent money. Number 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. These are the 6 lessons which have been discussed in detail in this book, from which you and your children can learn and grow wealthier no matter what happens in a world of increasing change and uncertainty. So all the upcoming videos on this channel are super important because these are the 6 lessons we are gonna learn and focus on. I would recommend you to stay tuned. You must not miss any of the next video. In order not to miss any of the next video, you could subscribe and hit the bell icon. So these were the things that we have discussed from Rich Dad Poor Dad. In case you want to buy the book, link is in the description. And finally, a big thanks for watching.